situations we have discussed.
Yes.
Then we have discussed about the leadership, the involvement, context to the organization, planning and responsible AI situations. What kind of situations could arise? The need for responsible AI. Then now we are discussing on the risk management. We have to do the exercise on the risk management.
Yes. So we went through the 23894 as well.
Right.
Yes, correct.
Right. That is the artificial intelligence management system, risk management, aligned with the ISO 31000. We also went through little bit on 31000.
31,000. Yep.
Right. So we did discuss on that, and we started with our case study um, for this clinical one, because that was one of the interest point for among all of us, right? So let
Yeah.
me share what it was shared. Just a moment. This one. I hope it is visible.
It's coming, sir. Yes, it is.
Yes. So context of the organization, fine. There would be one. Understanding the organization in its context, internal and external issues list and assessment. That's right. Understanding the needs and expectation of interested parties, stakeholder matrix, fine. Determining the scope of management system. That is a scope section of QMS specifying the boundaries, right? AI management system, leadership and commitment, management MOM discussion, AI policy, policy statement, roles and responsibility, org chart with roles and responsibility. Yeah, you have already mentioned that in below line. Right. Action
Yes,
to
yes.
address risk and opportunity, risk assessment. Here, I mean 6.1, it is not the report, it is the risk assessment process.
Okay.
Right. Risk assessment report would be coming in clause number 8.
Yeah. Risk statement and all. Yeah.
Risk statement and all.
And
Excellent. Yes.
and should we connect this with the 23894 principles as well, Sanjeev? Like we have been going through
Yes.
some of the principles as
Yes.
part of this risk.
Yes. Very much. It is required to be integrated with the 23894 from a risk management or NIST 600 also.
Correct.
Right. Because this standard is referring to NIST 600 as well.
Hmm.
So we went through the NIST 600 also. Okay. Similar way, like in 27,001, we follow the 27,005 and 31,000. Here we follow 23894.
Hmm.
Right. So from an implementation perspective, you definitely need to be thorough in 23894. What is how the risk assessment was carried out, what all various aspects associated. Probably you remember that in 23894, they have said that AI specific guideline.
Yeah.
Right. Everywhere it is mentioned the AI specific guideline to be incorporated in risk management like machine learning, algorithm, right? Their environment, the technological platform, the API integration, various APIs integration, the database what they are using for their AI solution. So there are multiple other aspects associated with AI that needs to be brought in to the risk management of the organization. It is not something which is saying that they have identified risk for 27,001 and the same should be perfectly fine with the 42,000 also. No, it is not correct. Right. Is that clear or any doubt from anyone?
Sorry, I missed the last sentence. Can you repeat, please?
I mean, if any organization is demonstrating you what risk they have identified as a part of 27,001, same will not be same will not apply
Applicable.
here. Yes.
Applicable here. Maybe some portion would be there, but not complete. It is not a
Yeah.
complete sector. Okay.
Yes, not completely. Some part yes, that can definitely be there.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Like technological risk and those things. But even Up to what extent they have implemented, it depends upon that, right? Then quality, objective and planning that we are yet to discuss. So we will come on these portion. What I am selecting is slightly later, but you have well captured.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. So now I am moving to the standard. Let us see that one. So we have now covered 42,001 until clause. Which clause we had been able to cover?
Class till class 6 we have covered.
6.
6, right?
Yeah.
So
We
that
have-
means actions to address. Number 1, we talked about the terms and definitions, context of the organization, leadership and commitment, AI policy, roles, responsibilities, and authorities. As a lead auditor, you have reviewed that yes, all these things are there, and as a lead implementer, you have implemented all these points, right? Planning, the risk assessment process. You have also established the AI objective and how it would be achieved, and the planning of changes, any changes, whether it is a hardware changes, software changes, it is a process changes, it is a data changes, algorithm changes, application changes, any changes, whatever is happening, even into the cloud environment. Whatever changes is happening, that's something which needs to be, which will be subject to planning of changes. So here, there would be process associated, which will have to be demonstrated, that how they would be planning for it. Any questions so far until clause number 6 from anyone?
No, sir, I'm good.
Good. Anything which is coming in mind from either auditing perspective or implementation perspective?
One thing which I'm not very sure, or I would say, like as I said, probably my limitation is on that 2, 3, 8, and 4 principles, right? So how exhaustively we need to go in and then put the implications, especially for the development and use of AI, right? So all these principles and the implication is something where I think I need to brush up a bit. But apart from that, I think I'm good with this, sir.
Right. See, I would say that it depends. None of us, I don't know if any one of you have passed the exam with 90%. Anyone who have passed more than 90% in graduation?
Graduation, no,
not.
sir.
I
No,
am
sir.
not.
I'm not either.
Okay. So anyone who has passed with 80%?
Sir,
Yeah.
me, sir.
Great.
Me too.
Me too. Okay. So great, 80%. So in that case, in this training session, we have only 2 people who is more than 80%, right?
Oh God.
I am
Sir,
still not into that category.
sir, nothing like that, sir. It would be a context, right? So, sometimes, kind of some of the subjects may be easier for us, some of the subjects may be easier for others. So
Yes.
it all,
Yeah, yeah.
perspective.
Mhm.
It's
And
important
when
is we understand the concepts.
concept, right? So nowadays probably there are more. You all would be much more later. I mean, in recent 10, 15 years or 20 years. When I did in 1995, that time teachers were not free-handedly giving the marks.
Sir, I'm only 1 year junior to you, sir.
Okay, 1 year junior. Great. So probably you would remember that that time not.
Correct, sir. Correct, sir. Correct.
Yes, that is the reason. I mean, uh, whatever marks we got, that was more than proud at that point of time.
Correct.
Right. So, but I am still not into that category of 80%, right? The why I am bringing this particular portion, there is a reason behind that. If you are thinking that any organization can pass the exam with 95% of marks, it is not a very easily identifiable situation which you can come across. But the philosophy of ISO standardization is that you reach to 95%, 90% over a period of time. Right?
Okay. So it is a journey basically.
It is a journey. So when you are saying that it is 23894 or NEST 600 or for that matter 42,001, it would be perfect on day one, it is not possible. But then it is a
Right.
journey and there are 3 years of cycle. Okay. That means the surveillance 1 and surveillance 2 and the certification audit. Within 3 years, this is something which you will have to take it to that level where you can proudly say that the organization is 80% marks, 85%. Still, that will not be 100%, I would say. Okay. And this is what our role as a lead auditor or lead implementer is.
Got it.
Into this journey, right? In the process, we learn more. A lot of time, even if we are not technical, we learn how the algorithm is, how the life cycle is, how the CI/CD pipeline has been established, how the testing is being carried out. But what I have seen mostly the organization, they have started their journey of certification with around 55 to 60%. And then have taken it to somewhere around 85 to 90% over a period of time. And that's how we have been able to justify the role of lead auditor or lead implementer within the organization. I hope this point clears.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
sir. Yes.
And even if we have not passed, like my percentage was 71% in my engineering, right? So it is not saying that at that time, if I learned, I didn't learn anything. Even after 30 years, I'm learning. So I always recommend to all the participants and trainers, don't say it is the end of the learning. It is the beginning of the learning. Right. AI is changing. AI scenario is changing. So even if you are not comfortable with 23894 or NIST 600 or any other standard, whatever is required, 5205, that is the data life cycle, keep learning that one. In your exam, there won't be any question from these standards, except 23894, where some of the principles may be asked. But to be a good lead auditor or lead implementer, you will have to continuously read it. Right? I hope it is clearing that point of that not comfortable or
No, I understand. Yes, sir.
right.
Yep. Yep.
So it is like compliance audit. It is not a compliance audit. It is a standard audit or a standard implementation. It has its own time of maturity within the organization. In compliance audit, we all directly see the evidence, but here we see the intent also and the improvement also. You will see that in later clauses in ISO 42001. Okay. So now we can move on to the next point. We have discussed about the planning of changes, AI objectives, and planning to achieve them. Any other question from anyone? Whatever, don't worry on right or wrong. If you have any doubt on leadership expectations, planning expectations, context of the organization, please do ask. So I'm assuming no question on these clauses. So let's move on to the support. You know, organization cannot work just by having a process within the organization, right? If they have a risk management process, but there is no one to execute. If they have a data lifecycle process, but they don't have adequate skill to execute that. If they have a CI/CD pipeline, but there is no DevOps engineer, there is no machine learning person, right? Or there is no infrastructure, like there is no laptop, desktop, multiple other things which are required, softwares, tools. That is required, right? So standard says that after you have planned, now move on to understand the support required. And this is what they are saying as a part of clause number 7. Let us go to the clause number 7. support. So number one, what they are saying, the organization shall determine and provide the resources needed for the establishment, implementation, maintenance, and continual improvement of the AI management system. So organization shall determine what kind of resources are required, whether it is a hardware resources required or software resources required or cloud resources required or tooling resources required, like DevOps pipeline is required. They require GitHub also. They require Python. They require maybe i5 processor and more. They require at least 32 GB of RAM or 1 terabyte, whatever is required. Or they require certain skill of the individual in order to pursue, in order to implement that one. So anything, the organization shall determine and provide the resources needed for the establishment, implementation, maintenance, and continual improvement of the AI management system. Do remember these are the four words for establishment of AI management system. That means you have to have some adequate place within the organization chart. You are establishing it, then you are implementing the processes of risk assessment, of life cycle management, anything. Then for the maintenance also, who would be maintaining it and how the maintenance would be carried out and the continual improvement. There is a note also, control objectives and control for AI resources are provided in A4, table A.1, implementation guidance for these controls. Again, they are referring to the annexure A, which we will come slightly later. So they are saying that for all the annexures, whatever is applicable for the organization, what we saw that statement of applicability. So there will be a resources required, software resources, hardware resources, infrastructure resources, competency requirement or people resources. They would be there, or including the process resources. Now in 7.2, what they are referring, that is the number one. They are now focusing from all other aspect only onto the competence. What is the meaning of competence? Anyone would like to comment on? We have discussed it as part of terms and definitions.
Having adequate skill and experience of AI systems.
So competence is more to do with the ability of an individual to deliver the task.
Yes, perfectly right. Ability of individual to deliver, right? So the competency requirement of salesperson would be more towards communications, presentations, understanding, and the developer competency would be separate. The database person or machine learning person competency would be separate. HR person competency requirement would be separate. So this is what they are saying. The organization shall determine the necessary competence of persons doing work under its control that affect its AI performance. There would be separate competency requirement for a testing person. There would be separate competency requirement for a cloud management person. There would be separate for data team. There would be separate for application development, database management. So there are competencies. HR, IT admin, the physical security, they require to have needed competency to deliver what they are supposed to. That is the point number one. So the organization shall determine the necessary competence of persons doing work under its control that affects its AI performance. Number two, ensure that these persons are competent on the basis of appropriate education, training, or experience. These are the three criteria what they have suggested. They should be have either education or training or experience. They are not only saying that give only education. No, it is not sufficient. It was realized by the ISO that they may require some training also or some experience also in order to do that one. In later part of experiences, maybe training or experience that counts more to be practical into the deliverable of whatever there is expected out of them. Third point, where applicable, take actions to acquire the necessary competence and evaluate the effectiveness of the actions taken. So that means wherever you feel that there is a short of a skill, they will have to demonstrate, or you will have to implement that that person is adequately trained on those points, or either externally or internally by the competent person within the organization. So these are the 3 points. Any question on these 3 points from anyone? Either implementation challenges, whatever is coming in your mind, or auditor challenges? Anything which is coming in your mind?
So one part on the evaluate the effectiveness.
Hmm.
It generally ties back to the vision statement of the AI policy, right? Whatever is the AI policy or scope that we have given. So we need to tackle it. So when you say how do you measure the effectiveness, right, from a competence perspective, is there any
Yes.
metrics that we need to see, or what kind of evidences that we need to see to say like whether they are adequately evaluating the effectiveness of the competence of the stakeholders, AI group, whatever it is?
Correct. For this question, there would be different answers for different scenarios. Like,
Hmm.
as I mentioned, 50% or 90%. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
So number one, let me go with the 90% one. If you see that if they have implemented the performance appraisal, right? So person after training the subsequent year or subsequent period of appraisal, that particular skill shortage has been removed. That finding is not there, right?
Hmm.
Or in 50%, what we see that training has been organized and organization management or their respective manager is validating that this person is now performing for this skill gap much better after the training. If he is not performing that one, that means he needs to be re-provided that training.
Okay. Okay.
You got it, this point?
Got it, sir.
Yeah, but over a period of time, over a period of 2-3 years, you will have to push for some adequate mechanism within the organization, right? Like performance appraisal, which is more sophisticated process of doing that one. And as a auditor, you may ask for the evidence that, okay, you provided on-the-job training or actual training, and last year performance appraisal, that was a feedback that this person is not well trained onto the Python, okay, or
Uh,
not able to contribute. So this time it is much better now.
I will give you one scenario, right? Real time scenario where which we are undergoing.
Mm.
Especially the point what you said, like training or enabling the teams, right? So generally now all the organization mandates some basics understanding of AI, Gen AI, and all those things. So we go through some 4 hours course, we finish it. So that point is you get a tick mark, right?
Mhm. Right.
But how much of that knowledge you are able to implement, how much of Gen AI opportunities or AML opportunities you are able to identify and implement in your scope of work, right?
Right.
That talks about the output. So I have a knowledge, theoretical knowledge I have, right? But how am I able
Mm.
to apply that knowledge? Because competency, as you said, one is you will be trained. Yes, it is a journey, we will be doing it, but I'm just trying to understand, like, how should we push basically when you say the teams or organizations? That's why I ask, is there any metric that we recommend or something, right? So theoretically,
Mm.
everything will be green, right? For example, I manage a
Right.
life science application management portfolio for HCL.
Mm.
Now, if I have to check the competency of my portfolio in terms of Gen AI, I have two
Mm.
courses, each 8 hours of courses from my academy. So they mandate everyone should do it. So 16 hours of training is done. Every project manager reports, yes, my team has done. Okay. My
Mm.
question as a transformation or a architect is how much of Gen AI opportunities or AML opportunities the team is able to identify and implement?
Right. I'll take a very simple example because we need to go into a specific of life sciences domain. what your projects are, but I will take a very simple example. Let us say that you are providing training on Gen AI, right?
Hmm.
For all the employees. Now, you know that in generative AI, there is an option that they can make presentation for you, right? On all your topic. If you see that all the people
Hmm.
are still not using that feature of Gen AI to make their presentation or work document or anything else, that means the training is not effective,
They are not embracing it. Okay.
right?
Hmm.
So they are still making it. They are not utilizing the technology after training also for making the presentation, for making the multiple other aspects, right? Now, another example is, let us say that in your
Hmm.
life sciences or clinical exploration,
Hmm.
let us say that they are complying to 21 CFR,
Hmm.
in, right? 21 CFR requirement.
Hmm.
There is a requirement of validation.
Hmm.
Fine.
Hmm.
Now, if validation is being done using some automated tool, let us say that they are using Selenium. Fine. I'm taking a hypothetical example. Now,
Right.
Selenium code can be developed by Gen AI,
Hmm.
right? They can.
Right.
You have to
Hmm.
adequately give the prompt associated, and they will provide you. Now, let us say that developers are still not using that feature of Gen AI
Hmm.
of
Sanjeev,
writing the code. In that
Sanjeev
case,
sir,
do you think the training is effective?
Sanjeev sir, can I pitch in a little?
Yes, 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 sure.
Balaji, are you using Agile or you are in a non-Agile conventional SDLC?
We have both.
Okay.
We
So the
have both.
idea, I think idea is very simple, especially from the Gen AI perspective, is that, you look at how much time people are taking and check whether the productivity is increasing over a period of time or not. Where they are, for example, in Agile, where they are able to complete all their work in the sprint cycles or not. That will
Hmm.
tell you clearly whether Gen AI is being used or, AI in general is being used or not, because with AI, productivity should increase. The second part is how many on-field bugs are being identified, how many your customer bugs are being identified. If that number starts going low over a period of time, that will clearly tell you that AI is taking, or AI is helping you practically, because things that humans can miss sometimes, or the scenarios that humans can miss, AI might be able to identify those edge cases. These are two practical things that you can see in any software development life cycle over a period of time within your teams. Productivity of the team before release and number of field bugs going down after the release, and these two metrics should tell you that AI is being used or not. If it remains same, then people are only talking about it, they are not using it. But if these two things start giving you positive results, then you are doing better.
We are on it already. We are on it,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So there are what Mr. Amit mentioned, that is absolutely right. So there are multiple scenarios. There are direct measure and there are indirect measure also.
Hmm.
You can identify whatever is going to be suitable to understand whether your training or competence related training is effective or not. But do remember, here we are talking about the competency, right?
Hmm.
And competency is an individual attribute, right? It
Hmm.
is an individual attribute. Ramit I hope you agree with me on that point.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes, competency is an individual attribute. And in this particular clause, we have to see that the competency is improving.
Hmm.
So then it will go to the individual level,
Hmm. Got it. Okay.
right? So that is a point, whole point about it. So you can, but ultimately there is no choice if they have well-established performance appraisal system or improvement in productivity, what Mr. Amit was mentioning about. Yes, that can be direct measure associated with that one.
Got it. Sure, sir.
Right. I
Okay.
hope it is answering your
Yes.
question.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other question from anyone? Okay. Appropriate documented information shall be available as evidence of competence. Implementation guidance for human resources, including consideration of necessary expertise, is provided in B4.6. Again, we will refer to that one as we go. There is a note 2. Applicable actions can include, for example, the provision of training to the mentoring of or the reassignment of currently employed persons or the hiring or contracting of competent person. They have given this scenario as well. Applicable actions can include, for example, the provision of training to the monitoring. All this point, whatever we talked about, that is with respect to monitoring of the reassignment of currently employed person or the hiring, contracting or competent person. So we can move on to the next point. That is the 7.3, that is the awareness. So person doing work under the organization's control shall be aware of the AI policy. So you have to ensure as an implementer or as an auditor that all the people within the organization, they know what is their AI policy, either by adequate display or any other means. But the intent is people should know this is what our AI policy is. That is the result. If you go as an auditor or implementer to ask someone what is our AI policy and they are unable to answer, that means this is not being fulfilled. This particular clause requirement is not being fulfilled. Their contribution to the effectiveness of the AI management system, they also should know. Like HR team, they will have a different contribution. Machine learning team will have a different contribution. Cloud, they will have a different contributions and multiple other aspects associated with that. The implication of not conforming with the AI management system requirement, that will also be required to be known by all the people within the organization, that if they are not, assume that they are not complying to these policies and other points, in that case, what would be the consequences of the organization? That also should be known. That people should be aware of. So whenever you are going for implementation, you will have to make sure that this is implemented across the organization, these points, awareness points. And auditor, you will have to make sure that that everyone is aware of. How we do this audit, we will talk about as once we start referring to 19011. Because there are multiple sampling also, like there is a sampling methodology. There can be statistical sampling, there can be judgment-based sampling. So those are the points which we will discuss as a part of 19011. That is a separate standard. So any question in competence and awareness?
Good, sir.
Sanjeev sir, one question is that it is
Yes.
not necessary. For example, an organization like HCL or Infosys or any other such organization where you have so many people, 50,000, 60,000 plus people working. It might be that certain projects may not have AI or the usage of AI prevalent in the system. Okay. Now, I understand as an auditor, I'll be told that these are the projects where I'm going to do audit with, and I'm obviously assuming that, these people will know about AI. But in general, while I'm collecting evidence as an auditor, if I ask someone and that person is not aware of AI policy or anything, what should I do as an auditor? Is that a NC? Is that, observation? What is it?
No, if there is no role for them in AI, then it is not NC.
Okay. Because 27,001 entire organization should know it. For example, irrespective of the project or irrespective of the anything, everybody should be aware of it. Now we were discussing this just a little earlier, that everybody in the organization should know about AI policy and everybody should be aware of the policy. So like 27,001, does this applies to everyone in the organization, or it is only for
No.
the people who are
It's
related
only
to
for
it?
the people, only for the people who are associated with the AI as per scope statement.
Okay. Okay.
But point is, can you imagine any department which cannot use the AI? There are three scenarios, like you are developer of AI solution, you are user of AI solution, right? You are a provider of AI solution. there are three scenarios. So do you think any department nowadays which may not require to use ChatGPT?
See, not require is one thing, not using is another thing. A requirement, obviously, everybody should know today, but there might be certain cases, for example, admin will not know, or certain processes in HR will not work with ChatGPT or something. So there can be such scenarios.
You know, in one of the audit, I was surprised that ChatGPT, one feature I was never aware of, and that was told to me by admin person.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that admin will not know it. I'm saying that there can be higher chances of admins not knowing it rather than knowing it.
Right. For example, let me take an example. Let us say that you are asking from ChatGPT, your admin team is asking that what all various laws applicable from for pollution control norms within my organization.
Uh-huh.
ChatGPT provided. You don't know whether it was relevant to India, it was relevant to United States, it was for Europe, it was for Pakistan or Afghanistan.
Uh-huh.
Now let us assume that that admin person is not aware of these issues. That ChatGPT is not only taking a specific incident, but it is giving a whole lot of information. And they have simply copy pasted it. And they are saying that "Okay, these all are things which is applicable for my scenario."
Okay.
Right? Because ChatGPT domain is not limited, right? Now it depends upon the prompt which you are selecting. Let us say that all the applicable pollution laws in Uttar Pradesh, India, or let's take an example of HCL. Now HCL has presence in almost all state of India, right? Now, if they have simply depending upon the AI, there is a possibility that everything is wrong. And that's where we see that the impact assessment will have to be carried out in our previous clause, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are using that one, or let us say there is an emergency situation in the organization, someone is fainted, and they are asking ChatGPT that what to do if someone is fainted within the organization, and they are exactly doing what ChatGPT is saying. Do you think that would be a better scenario?
No.
Yes. So they need to
Difficult.
be informed. They need to
Mm.
be informed that this is as per our AI policy, you are not supposed to take input from ChatGPT for emergency medical healthcare situations. I hope you are getting that point. I am
Yes,
seeing
yes, yes.
that one as a auditing, so that's the reason I am sharing all these points to
Okay.
all of you. Right?
Okay.
Your algorithm, let us say that your HR is there, right? Now, HR people are also using the chat GPT or Gemini or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the scenario is that the output can be wrong. Gemini is safe by making one-liner statement in terms and condition that this is an experimental output. You can't claim that. It is not an entity. It is not an individual entity as such. You can't go and raise FIR also against that, right? So when you are allowing within the organization that organizations should use GenAI, in that case, you will have to control the usage as well. Not only that, in our clinical services, right? As I mentioned about that developer are using, let us say they are copy pasting the code from ChatGPT. Productivity would improve, no doubt about that. Whatever they were supposed to do in 16 hours, they will do it in half an hour. But the challenge is HCL would be at risk of violation of intellectual property right. I hope you all agree with me.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And in case there is some penalty, I have seen that one case, they had to pay the huge penalty. because of using that code. Do you think that developers should be aware of, even if they are saying that I am not using it? Either you say that organization has blocked the chat GPT within their own premises. So there are multiple situations as a developer, as a user, as a provider. There would be scenarios. That's the reason we say that everyone within the organization should be aware of. However, the point is that organization, certain sections, certain people, they are not using it at all for some organization businesses purposes. Then based on the justification as a auditor, you can agree to that. So that person is not supposed to be aware of those things. Is that answering your question? I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, you are.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So is it answering the point? So
Yeah.
if someone is saying that it is
Yes,
not
yes.
applicable, there will always be doubt. I am not saying it would be correct, but there would be doubt that is the organization really not using an organization like kind of HCL?
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Yes, because mostly you will find it 90 to 95% people are technical in nature.
Mm.
So those are the point which something which as a auditor we need to be concerned about. Whether organization is justifying its stand or it's not a stand. So my view is that nowadays any organization cannot say that they are not using chat GPT if they are into IT or Gemini. Okay. And uses a specific policy that definitely and must be implemented by the organization adequately. Otherwise, they may enter into difficulty someday. Okay. Ethical issues are there. Health issues are there. Right. Intellectual property rights issues are there. There are multiple even the risk associated with the security aspects are there into the artificial intelligence. Last time I think I shared all of you, right? The incident. Anyone who remembers that last week? AI incident database.
Yes, we
Which
are
one, sir?
going through. No, you showed one website where they have recorded some incidents, AI
Right.
incidents. Yes.
And let me open that one in order to answer. This is a good point which everyone has brought in. Is it visible?
Yes.
Fine. Let us see the description. YouTube's content filtering and recommendation algorithm expose children to disturbing and inappropriate videos. Now tell me, how many people would be involved into this one?
You mean the people exposed to this risk?
Yes,
Could be many. We don't know, right?
many,
Many people would have.
right? So if let's say that you are HCL is user of YouTube's content filtering and recommendation algorithm.
Hmm.
So in that case, should not be aware of, people should not be aware of.
Should be. Ideally, should be.
Ideally, it should be. So uses of the AI is equally dangerous as compared to the development.
Hmm.
We were implementing one AI solution for, forestation and deforestation services in Uttarakhand.
Hmm.
Little algorithm changes that created havoc on certain people. Because
God.
the drone which was capturing the image on a daily basis of certain scenario, it
Hmm.
malfunctioned. And the GPS coordinate which was mentioned, that was wrong.
Hmm.
Okay. So I would suggest see this incident, what it is, what these are happening. And you can also see, mostly you will find it, entities. Let us see entities. OpenAI. Forget OpenAI, Facebook, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft. Let me open the Microsoft. Okay. Microsoft AI poll allegedly causes reputational harm of the Guardian newspaper. Do you think it can happen with any organization like TCS, HCL, Wipro, Infosys? Should not the people be aware that they should not be allowing these things? If you are using this one, algorithm allegedly selected photos of the wrong mixed race person featured in the news story. Bing AI search tool reportedly declared threats against the users. I hope every organization they are using the Bing. If you have a difference of opinion, please raise this point. Please raise your point. I hope I'm audible. All right.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you are.
Chinese chatbot questions Communist Party. Bing AI search tool reportedly declared threats against users. Bing chat tentatively hallucinated in extended conversation with users. So there are so many points. And organization like a mature and well-established organization, they will have to make sure that the people within their organization, they are aware of adequately about the uses or not uses of these scenarios. And that's the reason this awareness part is much more important. I hope it is answering the question that 27,001 and 42,001.
Yes.
So if you ask me, I would say that the entire organization should be aware of the AI policy. But if implementation is out of scope in certain areas, then there we don't expect them to be aware of. But otherwise, entire organization is expected to be aware of the AI policy within the scope. So no question, then we can move on to the next point, that is the communication. The organization shall determine the internal and external communications relevant to the AI management system, including what it will communicate, when to communicate, with whom to communicate, and how to communicate. Now, what all various points are there? Communications related to AI. There are multiple. Like if you are releasing it, release is going outside the organization. So in that case, how the communication would happen with respect to releases? Media talking, that is another point. Client conversation, that is another point, right? Employee communication, that is another point. So there are multiple. So what it will communicate, if there are legal terms, legal matters, there would be another way of communications. Not everyone is supposed to answer that one. It is only the legal team. So what it will communicate, when to communicate, with whom to communicate, and how to communicate. They will be establishing it and they will also be following it adequately. Fine. Any question from anyone?
No.
Okay. So no question. Then let's move on to the next point. That is a 7.5. Documented information. The organization's AI management system shall include documented information required by this document and documented information determined by the organizations as being necessary for the effectiveness of the AI management system. So as per this requirement, in this Excel sheet, what it was shared. Just a moment, let me go to that Excel sheet. I hope this Excel sheet is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
It is visible, right? So here in this list, let's say that you have only mentioned from 42,001 perspective, right? What all requirement from 42,001 perspective. But it is not limited. Assume a situation, context of the organization. It is in clinical services, healthcare, in any other domain, whatever they are in. So context of the organization may be little more. So that will be organization may decide to add few more things. That would be part of process. So we will have to add those points as well. We will see that one. So there are two requirements. One, let me share our case study. Hope this one is visible, right? The
Yes,
Word document,
yes.
right? We said here, interested parties, correctness of molecular modeling output, correct shape, composition, and use of molecule. So the process required is what? Test plan and procedures, R&D process. Whatever process we have mentioned it over here, they will also be added into their AIMS. So there would be test plan, AI test plan and procedure, AI R&D process, AI mutation study process, AI DNA sequence guideline simulation process, AI hardware and software requirement process. They would also be added into your master list of document. That means all the operational process, whatever is required. That's what the standard is sharing in this particular clause. 2 points, documented information required by this document, that means the 42,001 standard, and documented information determined by the organizations as being necessary for the effectiveness of the AI management system. So whenever you are coming up with a master list of document, it should be catering to both the requirements. I hope this point is clear. Any question from anyone?
Yes.
No question? So we can move on. The extent of documented information for an AI management system can differ from one organization to another due to the size of the organization and its type of activities like clinical services, healthcare, life sciences, defense, banking. So the size of the organization and its type of activities, processes, products and services, it will vary. It will have to be accordingly established as an implementer. So first you need to study the size of the organization and its type of activities. Then as an implementer, you will have to come up with the processes, products and services, whatever is from that perspective, whatever is required in terms of the documented information. The complexity of the process and their interaction. There are certain processes which are complex, they are life-threatening. So in that case, you will have to come up with the documentation requirement according to that scenario. Like let us say that someone is using artificial intelligence to recommend medicine based on the symptom of the patient, right? So that is a complex process, and their interaction from where they are getting this particular input, what they are doing actually with that one. In that case, you will have to have little more process over and above the 42,000 to 1 recommendation. That's how it would be controlled. And based on the competence of person. If organization is having a very highly skilled and competent person, probably you can reduce the number of process because they are very, very experienced. But if there are too many of junior people who are associated into the entire life cycle, entire development situation, in that case, you need more processes, more work instructions, more guidelines, more procedures, more forms. So if the competence of person within the organization, they are less, more documentation would be required. If the competence is more, then less number of document would also be sufficing the purpose. So any question on 7.5.1 from anyone?
No, sir, not yet.
Hope it is clear from auditing perspective as well as from implementation perspective.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one is the 7 point. Yeah, some question? No. Okay. So the next point is 7.5.2, creating and updating documented information. When creating and updating documented information, the organization shall ensure appropriate identification and description, like what would be the document number, what is its purpose, right? Who authored it, what is the reference number, what is the title, what was the date associated, all those things. Identification and description that is required. Format like language, software version, graphics and media, etc. Sometimes what happens that let us say that your policies allows organization to use Office 95. I'm taking a hypothetical example, or Office 2010. So in that case, all the document, whatever organization is working on or releasing should be compatible with the 2010 version. Otherwise, people concerned will not be able to see those documents, whatever organization is preparing for. So there should be format, for example, language also, software version also, there is a graphics also like logo and other details. And media, for example, it would be paper or electronic. That will have to be adequately established and implemented. And review and approval for suitability and adequacy, right? Review and approval for suitability and adequacy, that will also be part of document, that there is someone who has reviewed this document before being released. But do remember, these documents are not limited to process only. There is a design document, there is a requirement document, there is a document for algorithm, there is a document for user manual, there is a document for branching methodology, DevOps lifecycle, coding standards, everything. There are so many technical and non-technical aspects associated. So wherever, whatever document which your organization is using, there should be adequate review and approval mechanism for suitability and adequacy. Any question from anyone in 7.5.2?
No, sir.
I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us move on to the next one. Control of documented information, like meaning that one, the control, as I have been mentioning about, control is like a speedometer of car. Depending upon the context where you are driving on expressway, highway, state highway, or village road. So will be controlling. So documented information required by the AI management system, whether it is a 42,001 requirement documents or it is a organization specific documents, they all require to be controlled, shall be controlled to ensure it is available and suitable for use, where and when it is needed, So it should be where and when it is needed in a secure environment. So it should be available and suitable for use. Point number B, it is adequately protected, for example, from loss of confidentiality, improper use, or loss of integrity. Why this point is mentioned? Because your algorithm may be your own copyright or your own intellectual property rights, your data that can be your own IPR, intellectual property rights. So it will have to be protected adequately from loss of confidentiality, improper use, or loss of integrity. Any question? These are the two important points. So any question from anyone on point number A and B?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So for the control of documented information, the organization shall address the following activities as applicable: distribution, access, retrieval, and use. There would be adequate process for distribution, who would distribute it, who would access it, how it would be retrieved, and how it would be used. And there would be confidentiality associated with that one. Storage and preservation, including preservation of legibility. Whatever document you are producing, let us say the logs. There are AI logs, there are application logs, data logs, cloud logs, development logs, HR logs, every the logs. So storage and preservation, including the preservation of legibility, that will have to be adequately demonstrated or adequately implemented. Control of changes, if any changes are happening in those documents, like let us take a requirement document. If it is changing the requirement document, then version control and other respective change management will have to be demonstrated adequately. And retention and disposition. How long it would be retained? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, lifetime, depending upon the law of land and company's business environment, because retaining it for a longer time is costly for the organization, because then you need to keep the data for a very, very longer time. So depending upon the uses and the scenarios, you will have to have a retention and disposition policy associated. Documented information of external origin determined by the organization to be necessary for the planning. So any document which is of external origin, anyone would like to comment on or take an example of any document of external origin? Like
It
contract.
could be a customer's contract. It could be
Yes.
customer's specific drawings or
Customer contact,
specifications.
absolutely right. So customer contacts, customer drawing, even your laws, they are also considered to be of external origin. Fortunately, there is no law in India, but if your client is in US, there would be law. In Europe, there would be law, right? So those are the laws. They are also external origin. Sometimes data you take it either from some other organization or from government site or somewhere else. That is also a document of external origin in your AI development. Sometimes you use some other applications, certain APIs. So whatever their documents, they are also documentation of external origins. So documented information of external origin determined by the organization to be necessary for the planning and operation of the AI management system shall be identified as appropriate and controlled. Access can employ a decision regarding the permission to view the documented information only, or the permission and authority to view and change the documented information. Access can employ a decision regarding the permission to view the documented information only. Do remember, it is not saying that the process documentation, that your process document like risk management process, you have to control. No, you have to demonstrate all, like requirement document, design document, development documents, the standards, coding standards, your test plan, test cases, test report, your Jira, if you are using Jira or any other tool like Zoho for your defect management system, they all will have to be adequately access controlled. So any question from anyone on clause number 7?
No, sir.
So there would be time for a short exercise. Again here, those who are auditing team, you will have to prepare a audit questionnaire based on clause number 7 requirement like 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4 and 7.5. All right. Okay, that would be one part. Or let us go with this exercise in this scenario with all the auditing perspective. So I will just break into uh, maybe 3 rooms. Okay. And you can come up with the audit questionnaire. Then we will talk about the implementation, how to implement them for our case study. Hope it is okay.
Sure, sir.
So is 15 minutes should be okay? Or 10 minutes? Let's keep it 10 minutes. Please write one question for each of the clause 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4 and 7.5. Then we will discuss about 7.5.1, 2 and 3. What would be your audit question? So I am breaking the room into 3, sorry. Request please complete in next 10 minutes. That means 11:21 or 22. We will be again. I have created. Is it done?
Sir, we
Ah.
required couple of more.
Okay. So let me again.
That's okay. We can discuss.
We can discuss, yeah, no issue.
Okay. Fine. So anyone who would like to present?
JP sir,
1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Just a minute.
Right.
Is the screen visible?
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So these are some of the questions. How has the organization determined and allocated necessary resources for effective implementation of AIMS?
Hmm.
Prove with evidence these systems, both hard and soft, have been allocated. What tools have been made available? The next was on how has the organization identified skills and competencies for specific use of AIMS in drug discovery, clinical trials, etc. Then specific record of any couple of working people on their educational skills, relevant experience, certification, training undertaken, evaluation of any specific trainings that have been imparted for this purpose. Then proof of how our stakeholders and employees made aware of a policy, objective, etc. How is the awareness maintained of the risk and impact of the use of AI in their projects? How has the communication mechanism been established? Are there specific policies on who, when, what, how will communication happen specific to AIMS? Then on documentation, do you have documented procedure describing how AIMS systems are managed? What are the documents related to a management systems stored and how is it managed?
Right.
How are the documents classified? Internal, internal confidential, external. How are those permissions given? How is the access to those AMS documentation control on who can access, who can view, who can edit, etc. What are the retention and disposition policies for the documentation? Where is the retention and disposition policy stored?
Right. So these are the direct questions, JPG. For what is? Let's go to the number 1.
Yeah.
How has the organization determined and allocated the necessary resources for effective implementation of AIMS? Now, let's ask, this is a right question, that is how has the organization? What would be the answer for this one?
The answer would
With
be,
what answer you would be satisfied as a lead auditor?
Right. So
It is more of a open-ended one.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Because the implementation team will have to act upon that, right?
Right.
so the question regarding evidence for systems allocate, I would like to see, maybe they have a table or a document which will show me what are the systems that have been allocated for the system, who those systems have been assigned to.
Okay. Right. But the only point is that has the organization determined and allocated the necessary resources for effective implementation of AIMS? Your question would be more related to that, is the resource allocation sheet available?
Right.
Right. Resource allocation sheet. Now there would be further question here. So that means you are directly asking that resource allocation sheet,
Right, sir.
right? Then the question would be the necessary resources. How do you find out that which all are the necessary resources or which all are unnecessary resources?
No, would a demand versus capacity plan will help here? Resource demand versus capacity plan,
Yes, that would definitely help,
right? Okay.
right? Demand versus, that is something which exactly is the expectation. So if you want to write it, you can mention it, that demand and allocation, demand and supply related resources, that is fine. Right?
Right.
So
Right.
our questions should be adequately aligned. So that, because you also have to implement it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, evidence for system allocated for the same. So what would be the evidence which you would be interested in?
Asset allocation sheet.
Asset allocation sheet, tools made available when that.
Probably your inventory. So actually, we were also discussing this point, but it will go little operational, right? So you can ask for an inventory also, right? So what is
Yes,
your
yes.
resource inventory, infrastructure inventory, license, whatever it is, right? So, but it becomes little operational. But should an auditor go and do it? But it will be more applicable for an implementer.
Yes, but auditor can check whether it is available or not.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
Operational level,
got it. Okay.
right? Implementers have much wider role to play, right? Because they know nitty-gritty of the organization and its challenges.
But auditor also has to get that confidence that what
Yeah, yes.
is
Evidence is
needed
an evidence. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is being done.
Is being done.
Yes.
That will have to be demonstrated. So you as an auditor can go, and as a implementer, then what would be your role here? Demand and supply matrix implementation, process implementation, right?
Right.
You also have to be implementing the asset registers, asset allocation and deallocation. You also have to have system allocation details. Yeah, that would be asset. So these are the two evidences. Your question is that is this available or it is not available? So demonstrate that to us. Now let us assume a situation where they are demonstrating it to you 2 months before sheet, and in between the last 2 months they have come up with one more AI solution.
So it is not up to date.
It is, so will that be a finding?
Sorry.
Will that be a finding?
Yes.
Non-conformity?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, it will be a non-conformity.
Yeah. It is not relevant as on date.
Yes. So that means the documentation control is not adequately established.
Right,
Or
sir.
change management has not been followed adequately. Fine.
Yeah.
Similar way, a specific record of personal working, education, skills, relevant experience, certification, training undertaken. So what evidence as the auditor you would be interested in?
Sorry, sir. Come again.
For the next point,
Yes.
how has the organization identified the skill and competency for the specific use of AIMS in drug discovery?
No, role based competency matrix is something that we would ask, right? So
Yes, role-based competency matrix. But in role-based competency matrix, maybe education is not there, right?
but your background verifications or your HR thing we can look, right? Especially for looking for this thing,
Yes.
educational qualifications and all those things.
So
Yeah, but in
if
this
they
standard, background verification is not a requirement mentioned as a part of standard.
Can we talk about skill matrix?
Yes, skill matrix is a classical example. Perfect. Then you will also expect for some hiring like education record verification, right? Education records, there are other records.
so that would all be in the personal file of.
Yes, so you can ask for a personal file as well.
So as has been mentioned, a specific record of personal file, personal working. So
Ah.
that will cover those aspects.
That will cover,
Education,
yes,
skills, his experience,
yes,
all trainings that he has undertaken, any certification courses.
yes. And then the training. So then
Yeah.
you will ask the training team to provide you that, have you provided the training? If yes, then show the evidences. So training record means training plan, training schedule,
Actual training attendance.
actual training attendance, then training effectiveness. There would be some process that their manager, minimum manager is certifying that yes, that person training was effective. If you want in next level in after a year or so, then you can also ask for, did your productivity improved?
Also, if they have a questionnaire based testing methodology for the trainings, then we can also check that record of.
Yes. We can also check the record of as a auditor. And the same thing as a implementer, you will have to implement it. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So this clause is clear. We got exactly 1.5 hours, so you want break for 10 minutes or we can continue?
We can have a 10 minutes break.
10 minutes break, fine. So let's have a 10 minutes break. 11:34 IST, so we will be back at 11:45.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Is everyone back?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm back.
Fine, great. So we can move on to the next one, right? We have covered the 7.5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and now we are moving into the operations part. This part would be only and only exercise for next some time. Little bit of theoretical part. The organization shall plan, implement, and control the processes needed to meet requirement and to implement the actions determined in clause 6 by establishing criteria for the process, implementing control of the processes in accordance with the criteria. Now let us see our case study. I hope all of you remember this our case study, Biogenics Life Sciences Private Limited.
Yes.
Industry Life Sciences, Pharmaceutical Research, Development, Clinical Trial and Diagnostics. Core operations, drug discovery using AI-assisted molecular modeling, clinical trial data management using AI-enabled predictive analytics, and personalized medicine solutions leveraging machine learning models. Now, let us see this one. Sorry. Is this sheet visible?
Yes.
Now I would be needing help from those who are into clinical trial. I just took out this Excel sheet from ChatGPT. This is a dummy data. This is not a actual data. Fine. So these are the various parameters: project ID, compound, molecular name, research principal, investigator, laboratory locations, experimental date and time, hypothesis, methodology, sample ID, instrument, reagents. We will focus on to the clinical trial portion. These are the data, right? Study title, sponsor, CRO name, investigator name, ethics, site locations. Now you have established a process, right? In clause number 4, 5, 6, and 7, you also have entire organization resources available with you. You have a policy statement. You have an objective. You have a risk management process, risk mitigation process, impact assessment process. Everything now you have. Now let us work on something just for understanding purposes. For now, I am sharing this data. This is a synthetic data. I hope it is visible.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now you have to correlate something like, let us say, compliance percentage 90%. Is there any correlation between age and compliance percentage? Let us say they are coming up with some kind of a AI solution. Or is there some correlation between this diabetes test, right?
HB.
HB. Is there any correlation between age and lab result? So let us say that they are coming up with they are prescribing the medicine that if the age is this much, probably their HB level would be this much, and they would require your medicine to consume in order to avoid these challenges. Is the case study clear? This output I have taken it from ChatGPT. Don't consider it to be actual data. It is not actual data. So in our case study, those who are into clinical research, please communicate, please suggest if something which I am missing here. Anyone? I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So anything which I am missing at a very basic level, let us establish a kind of a correlation. So I am establishing a correlation between age,
Age and HB correlation, right?
yeah, age and HB correlation. Because that looks to be easiest one. Otherwise, we will have to go through complete data analytics portion. This is just for explanation purposes. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Fine. It is too much of data for Excel to take some action. So I'm reducing this data set to, let's say, 50. Do you think any correlation?
No distinct one.
No distinct one because R square is very low, right? No distinct relationship which is coming out over here, right? So probably we will have to take something else. What else we can take? Our understanding is only for some kind of a correlation establishment. Let us see that is there any relationship between compliance.
Maybe male versus female.
Yeah, but then we will have to use some tool for that.
Yeah, correct. Minitab.
It will not be here, Minitab. It will not be able to do it here. Okay, let us see lab result and lab result BP MMHG. Okay, so here there are two parameters. Excel will not be able to do it multiple one.
We have to use Minitab.
Yes, so we will have to use Minitab for that. Do you see any correlation between these two? No, it is not coming out to be. I am reducing the data size further, just keeping it 20 only. Again, there is no correlation.
No.
So this is what this machine learning team and data scientists, they keep on exploring it, right? And then they can build this equation, whatever you are seeing it here. I hope it is visible. We are not supposed to be expert of this one as a lead auditor or lead implementer, but we should know how it is working. I hope it is visible.
Yeah.
So let us assume the R square is more than 80%, right? 80% accuracy.
Yeah.
And this equation is correct. Assume, for now, let us assume it. Fine. Based on the actual data, whatever they have come up with. So they can come up with some kind of a algorithm of correlation. There are multiple steps which these machine learning team, they will be evolving. Outlier, segmentation of data, for example, based on geography, based on the male, female, based on the phase, based on the lab result, right? And they can also correlate. There is a section called nodes, like mild fatigue. So they had 12.6 HB, age 51. So they had a mild fatigue. And their BP was 131 and 89. So they had a mild fatigue. So they can come up with some kind of a scenario. And then they can mix up certain medicine for adequate doses. Is that clear or any doubt from anyone?
Looks okay, sir.
Right. Anyone else? So we are assuming because this data is from ChatGPT, so you may not correlate it exactly the way it is, right? But in real life situations, you will find it. You can see it in this data. Now, what we are saying that they are establishing the correlation, age, lab result of HB, and all these parameters, start date, visit date, because there would be, you will see that there are months associated. You will find it that if it is a rainy season, probably the patient would be more. If it is a change of weather, then patient would be more. Those kind of a scenario, right? They will be capturing all this data, and based on these fatigues, they will be suggesting that precautionary, you can take this medicine composition of BP medicine, composition of sugar medicine, composition of this, that. Like you can see the drug B, drug B, drug B. I don't know what is the placebo. I have heard, but exactly what it is, I don't know.
Placebo is what
It's
you
an
call
effect.
as dummy.
Acha, dummy. Okay. So the dummy, drug A, drug B. So you can come up with some kind of a algorithm, and depends upon what kind. It's a very complicated exercise, right? They will be coming up, evolving with certain accuracy, and that accuracy is like in a simplest form. We can see it here is a R square, which is mentioned in our chart. This where our chart is gone. Don't know. Yes, in this one, 11.84 ln x 117. If you want to change this equation, you can change this equation as well. So they will do keep on experimenting it. Now, where is our role? Where is our role as a lead implementer or as a lead auditor? First of all, evolving this y is equal to minus 11.84 ln x plus 117.48 and r squared with this one. Probably it will require a lot of expertise from their, say, data scientist and algorithmic person, right? I hope you all agree with me.
Yes, sir.
So how they are evolving? This one, that is one of the process associated, right? There would be accuracy aspect because this data is based on certain scenarios, certain environments, certain conditions, and other associated factors. So we need to understand how they have evolved this one and what is the error associated with it. From where they took this data, the data you are seeing it, clinical trials, synthetic data, CSV. What was the source of data? When this
Dependability.
data,
Dependability of the source.
yes, dependability of the source, right? Was it for entire year? Was it for only Delhi? Was it for Bangalore also? Was it for New York also? How they have collected all this information? That would be called as a data life cycle. How they are outlining it, how they are segmenting it, how they are harmonizing it. There are so many. How they are removing the outliers. There are multiple aspects which even I am not expert of, right? Little bit we know that another aspect, but that is the expertise of the data scientist, right? Now our role is coming where? Our role is coming whether this process is adequately established or no. So as a lead implementer, you will be establishing this process. You would be establishing the data lifecycle process, and you would also be establishing this like y is equal to minus 11.84 ln x plus 117.48 with certain predictability level. And they would be developing some kind of a code, whether it is in Python or it is in any other language. They would be developing this scenario. They would be integrating it with some front end so that input can be collected and output can be displayed into some form. So there would be application life cycle, then there would be algorithm life cycle, and then there would be a data life cycle associated, right? We are talking about a very, very simplest just for understanding purposes. So don't correlate it with the actual life scenario. Okay. So, and now the objective is they are trying to predict their medicine, which should be recommended beforehand, which is composing of, let's say that it is inclusive of paracetamol, it is inclusive of some other combination of salts. And they are suggesting that if you consume, if in this age group, the male, if they consume our drug B, whose lab result HB is 13.8 and compliance percentage is 70, they are stable, so then they will improve. They will not have the similar problem. Is the case study further elaborated now? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So now you will have to do the risk assessment and impact assessment. For this particular solution. You have risk assessment template available with you? Everyone in your folder, respective folder?
Yeah, it's there.
It's there, right? So you can open that one. Anyone can share, then I can anyone who is a data scientist also here?
No, sir, not me.
Okay. Anyone? Ramit ji?
No, no.
No. Deepika, Ayushi? Kiran?
No, sir.
Okay. Not an issue. Fine. So our role is limited to this one, so that's the reason I am sharing these 3 documents here. Should I share it here only or in WhatsApp group?
Here you can share, sir.
WhatsApp, sir, please.
So I am sharing these data. First, I will have to close it.
Can you share them here also, Sanjeev?
I will share.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm just saving it here. This data you can also download from ChatGPT. I'm sharing it here also. I think I don't have access to share the document here. So I have already shared it in WhatsApp. I can't share it. Okay.
Can
Okay. Yeah, now I got it. Now I can see. I hope you have received it.
Yeah.
There are 3 files given on WhatsApp.
Yes.
And you also have our case study. Do you want me to share the case study again?
yes, Sanjeev.
Okay. I have shared that. Risk register you have.
Yeah, we have.
Can you
Fine.
show it here, sir?
Yes, risk assessment sheet and impact assessment sheet. Let me share that one. Is it visible? This is in the same folder. Is this document visible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So there is a life cycle risk. There are certain general risks, right? There is some data protection risk. You know, in this case, there is a patient data. So there is a data risk. Then there are certain legal risks. There are certain functional and technical risks. And you also have one impact document. So what would be the impact? Let us say that accuracy is not up to mark. In that case, if you are prescribing your own medicine, so instead of patient getting better, their life can also be threatened, right? Based
sir.
on the based on the data set, whatever we have. So impact is it is a life threatening. If the accuracy issue is there, it is a life threatening. Then there are other impact like there is a dependency. So everyone, instead of doctors, they will take advice from your AI solution and start consuming the medicine, right? So you will have to put certain controls, like any medicine which is like narcotic, that cannot be subscribed using your AI solution. So they are a validation part. Impact is it can be used for that as well, your AI solution, depending upon whatever input is there into the Excel sheet. Is that clear to everyone or any question? So the way you have defined the risk assessment process as per which standard? Anyone who remembers? 23894. Right?
Yeah.
23894. You have to do the risk assessment. You have to identify these risks aligned with the life cycle. You have this copy of 23894 in a folder.
Yes.
You have copy of this one. So you have to identify how many risks. Maybe 5 risks should be okay. 5 risk and 5 impact aligned with the AI solution which organization is working on. Do remember this risk assessment will have to be carried out for each application. Let us see this clinical trial AI companies has 2, 3, 4, 5 different AI solutions. So they will have to do the risk assessment and impact assessment for all of them separately. I hope it is clear to everyone. So as an auditor, you would be asking them to provide you these details, and as an implementer, you will have to help them implementing all these processes and procedures. So let us start with this case study. And you are identifying, let us see the 10 risks. Fine. Related to AI solution, it is not a information security risk or technical risk or cloud security risk. Whatever it is, AI lifecycle related risk, general risk, some data protection risk, some legal risk, and of course the functional and technical risk wherever you can. Should the 15 minutes be okay?
So all risks have to be done.
No, only 10 sample. All risk, it will take several months.
I mean, life cycle, general, data protection, legal.
Whatever you choose so.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned, it takes several months to complete the risk assessment sometimes. Because we need to understand all the aspect of the AI solution, what is being proposed. Here, this is our case study. So in case study, we are identifying 10 risks and 5 impacts. The AI solution which they are coming up, which this organization is coming up, Biogenics, they are trying to build that AI solution. So you are doing the risk assessment for that solution, aligned with the 23894. So 15 minutes or 30 minutes?
I think, sir, 15 is too less.
Okay. So 30 minutes or 20 minutes?
It's an individual exercise or group?
No, group. I will be forming a group.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's keep it for 20 minutes and then we will see if it is not complete, then we will extend it. So I am opening
Yes.
all the room for next 20 minutes. It is 12:18, so we can complete it by 12:40 IST. I am opening all the rooms. I am on mute now.
Sanjeev sir.
Hope it is completed.
We are able to document 5, sir. 4, 5, 5, I think.
Okay, no issue. Let us discuss that one. But this time let us discuss from room number 3.
B. I think we were in room 1.
Yeah. So room number 3. Ramit ji. Deepika,
Yes, sir.
have you completed?
Sort of, sir.
Okay, you can share.
So, sir, we have taken life cycle risks,
Yes.
and in that we have find some with respect to these categories, we have find some risk and then probability, and on the basis of that probability and impact, and then RPN, and how we are going to control that. That is also being written here.
Okay. So fairness data, this is a life cycle.
Yes, sir.
Data representative of population. So which life cycle this one would be? Data life cycle, right?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Explainability gap. Okay.
So by
But it-
integrating the tools of like SHAP and Lime, we can
okay.
control it.
Incorrect dosage, drug interactions, predictions. Human oversight in final decision. Okay. Right. What about impact?
So if impact would be very high.
No. Impact assessment. Have you carried out the impact assessment?
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
Not yet.
Fine. So I think you have captured it quite adequately, both of you. That is perfectly fine. But align it with the life cycle also. Like you can go up.
We have
Uh, it is
It is from this only, sir.
from this only. Do you have
Yes.
that life cycle flow diagram which I shared last week?
Yes, sir. I have to check just.
Just open it.
I think this is the one.
Mhm.
This is the org chart.
Yeah. This is
No,
the one.
this is
But it is not the arc chart. You can make it little bigger. So you have to find out risk related to inception in life cycle,
okay.
design and development, verification and validations, deployment, assuming that they have adopted this life cycle.
Okay.
There is a possibility some of the phases may not be applicable for certain organization. In that case, that would be excluded.
Okay.
Similar way, there was one more called the data life cycle.
Yes, sir.
Do you have that one?
Yes, sir. I have, but I haven't. No, this is not the one.
This is not one.
This
Fine.
is
So I will share that again short
sure.
while because there is one more exercise related to that as well.
Sure, sir.
Do that. Okay, fine. Room number 1.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Pawanji.
Um, we also have not, we were not able to do the impact assessment, but what we did is, yeah, I'm sharing my screen. You're able to
Yes,
see?
yes.
Yeah. So we picked up two of the objectives from here. from drug discovery and clinical trial management,
Hmm.
we identified 5 risks each in the in these two processes.
Hmm.
See, one is algorithmic bias affecting underrepresented populations.
All right.
Yeah, risks of failing to meet so and so. A undermines patient autonomy or trust. A system is unable to qualify. Yeah, is unable to qualify appropriately the outliers during clinical
Oh.
trial analysis. Cloud hosting failure. Wrong target, like a specific protein, is identified. Wrong
Hmm.
target is identified. Biased screening that confines to a specific group of compounds.
Hmm.
Incorrect AI prediction in drug discovery leading to unsafe candidates.
All right.
Adversely impacting the target protein, instead of containing it, is probably it is multiplying it and all. AI system does not have the capability to sustain the tracking of atoms movement throughout the drug. Yeah, there's a lot of computing power is needed, but probably the current capability of the system is not so much that it tracks. So it loses the track of the atom movement during the drug target interaction. That could be a risk.
Right.
Yeah. So
Absolutely right. You have captured it very adequately from the AI system perspective, but you are not referring to the data, or you have referred to the population and other details.
yeah,
Earlier,
we.
you. Hmm.
I mean, to this, right? Whatever you
Yes.
said.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that only, we started writing, especially for
Okay.
clinical.
Fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Room number 2.
Um, we took a little chance from data perspective. Balaji, you want to project it?
Okay.
Sorry, I was talking. I'm not sure, Satish. 1 minute.
So the purpose of this one is to understand that this is not related to 27,001 like risk management. It is also related to the AI solution.
Yeah.
Right.
So kind of we were working from process procedure perspective. Still we
Yes.
are there only. So from that perspective, kind of AI expertise where models to protect the data, GDPR, impact the GDPR HIPAA violations. It could happen.
Right.
So we have to have a data quality framework, secure and consistent mechanism to protect that. But that is first risk we highlighted. Then inadequate training and the data patterns, impact adoption kind of a thing may impact the quality of the output. That is another thing we have identified. So from that perspective, we thought to write. Then environment also we have taken into consideration, where high power consumptions and climatic impact may impact the kind of making the decisions. Then fairness in selecting the patient selection, the right gender, maybe wrong selections could impact, is another one we have taken. Then from accuracy and correction perspective, incorrect data interaction predictions, flaw in personalized medicine outputs can kind of lead a big risk. So we have to have rigorous testing, simulation guidelines, and validation procedures is what we thought. From security perspective, we just are attempting AI systems. They can make any decisions without human interaction or oversight. They may make wrong decision, like drug prescription. It could be wrong, dosage could be wrong, kind of a thing. So we have to enforce a human in the loop policy and define ethical AI protocols is with what we thought.
Right. I think fine. Everything is captured at a very high level. I mean,
Yeah.
we are not expecting it to be 100% complete because it
Yeah.
is a long exercise, right? But did you consider this 23894?
It's just open and time consumes.
Okay.
10 minutes is 10, 15
We
minutes.
have very, very less time, but let
Yeah.
me share that one also again.
So we did try to take care of requirements up to 3984.
Requirement. So
Yes.
you
The
have
principles,
captured it.
the
Let
8 principles.
Yeah, so we we put those 8 principles
Yes,
and
okay,
try to
I'm
map
sorry.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, please share. Please share.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So we kept these ones and then tried to map them to the risks that these. I mean, the identified risks, and we try to map them with these principles.
Acha,
That's what
from
we
it
did.
is
Yeah.
no, yes, you have done that well from that point of view. There are a few more points there.
Okay.
We probably need to look into. Let me share
Sure.
that one. Is it visible?
Coming up.
Yes.
So you see, principles of AI risk management you have considered, your framework, understanding the organization and in context, it is done. Articulating risk management commitment, assigning organizations role, authorities, responsibility, allocating resources. This risk management process, right? Risk assessment, risk identification, risk analysis also you have done, like when you said the 2, 3, 4. But it is a very broad in itself. The more organization would be matured, more better the risk evaluation criteria would be. You have collected a selection of risk treatment option. This is where I see that all three groups, they have not been able to come up like you would like to mitigate it, you would like to accept it, you would like to transfer it. What you intend to do that one? The similar like 27,001 as well. Right? And what is the plan of the risk treatment plans implementation? What is the timeline? Who would do that? Who would be the owner of that?
Uh, I need to add here, we probably were under the impression that we at this moment are only supposed to identify
Yes.
the risks and impact.
Yeah, but in this exercise, what we did that I was expecting at least that it would be pointed out that these are the areas which are missing in the template itself.
So we thought that this is going to be the
Yeah.
next exercise where we would do it.
Okay, so we will do it then in next exercise. But before that, we have to again go back to the standard and cater to some of the requirement.
Sure, sir.
Okay. So let me open the standard again. So the point number 1, what we tell, the organization shall plan, implement and control the processes needed to meet requirement and to implement the actions determined in clause 6 by establishing the criteria for the processes and implementing control of the processes. Let me open this life cycle. I hope this, okay, just a moment. I need to share that. I hope this one is visible.
Yeah.
So you have to identify in the life cycle risk for all the life cycle related, whatever organization have opted for, like inception risk, design and development risk, verification and validation risk, deployment risk. Okay. Similarly, there would be one algorithm or AI life cycle, algorithm life cycle. And third one will be the data life cycle. Data life cycle is the Excel sheet. It can be in a Excel sheet, it can be in SQL, it can be Oracle, it can be big data, whatever it is. That's not a point of concern here. We are going with whatever is the data life cycle they have adopted. So we will be identifying the risk associated. And another point which standard is referring to, that is important to understand that What standard is saying? That the organization shall plan, implement, and control the processes needed to meet requirements and to implement the actions determined in clause 6 by establishing criteria for the process and implementing control of the process. So you will have to establish criteria and control for these processes. Right? For our case study. So in this exercise, what we would do, you will have to identify the processes needed, which organization must demonstrate it to you as a auditor, or you would be implementing those processes as a lead implementer. Objective requirement, risk assessment, risk treatment plan, and compliance, how the designing would be carried out, how development would be carried out, how architecture would be prepared, right? How the training and validation of your AI solution, right? You would continuously train the model. So how the model training would be carried out, how the validation and testing that would be carried out, how you would be deploying it. So those are the process which we'll have to identify, and that will go into a 42,000 to 1 process document. Is that clear, or any doubt from anyone? We are assuming that our AI case study, the clinical trial services, is catering to. Let us go to a situation. Just give me a second. Let me open. Is that visible? The data field?
Now it has come up.
Okay. So this one is directly correlating with this standard requirement. Establishing criteria for the process. So in data validation, data analysis, data lifecycle, data acquisition, how this data would be acquired? Definitely we can't say that it would be acquired fake data from ChatGPT, that right? That is not a correct way. For our case study, we have done it using the ChatGPT, so they have given some data for us as a sample to work upon. But then how that data would be calculated and collected, there would be process associated with that one. How data analysis that would be carried out, there would be process. So you have to identify the list of processes aligned with this one. Aligned with this life cycle. And also you have to identify the list of processes aligned with the data life cycle. Remember, there are two standards, 5259 and 22989. These are the two different standards which is being followed for AI system life cycle and data life cycle. So for our case study of the clinical trial application, clinical trial life sciences services, where you are evolving a medicine, can you follow number one? Can you follow this one? Inception, design and development, verification, validation, deployment, operations and monitoring and reevaluate. Focus on to the application part. But I hope you are aware of there is a different life cycle followed by the clinical trial companies. Anyone who have that information? Clinical trial companies, they follow certain life cycle as mandated by FDA.
Is that gap assessment governance framework?
No, not exactly the governance framework. Let me Let me open that.
Risk assessment, data and model management,
Yes, data and model management, right?
documentation and control.
Documentation control, that is a very, very important aspect, right? In
Risk
any
and
given-
awareness.
Yeah, you have to produce that evidences. So we are not talking about that. We are talking about the AI system, whatever they are developing. It's that life cycle.
Oh,
Fine. What they are going to be using. We are not too much concerned with the clinical trial life cycle. We are only concerned with the AI application life cycle. I mean the UI, UX life cycle, their data life cycle, their algorithm life cycle, their deployment life cycle, and their operations life cycle. Because post deployment, how it is being used from a operation perspective. That's what the standard is referring here as a part of this requirement. Establishing the criteria for the processes and implementing control of the processes in accordance with the criteria. So let us say that you have a process, you have establishing criteria per process. That once you have finalized data, rationalized data, segmented data, outlier, removing the outlier data, that would be a criteria for the process. These are the sequence of steps that would be followed. And then finally, it would be released. Once released, before that, there would be data testing, data accuracy testing, data correctness testing, multiple other correlations, validations. That's something which they would do. So this you will have to do for each of the process. Similar way like requirement. What would be the criteria for the requirement? You have idea of AI solution, right? Some idea has been generated. Its use case has been established. That would be criteria. And then criteria also that how this process shall be established. Based on the idea, how we will be capturing the requirement. There would be functional requirement, there would be operational requirement like non-functional requirement. There would be certain legal requirement. There would be certain regulatory requirement. There would be certain other requirements associated. So both functional, non-functional, regulatory, legal into nature, certain ethical requirements, certain cultural requirements. So there are multiple aspects associated. So that is also being considered as a criteria that how all these points what I mentioned, they are also a criteria as such. So you will be evolving those processes and then coming up with the adequate control for validating those criteria. Any question from anyone in this one, in this point? I hope you understood it. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So is it clear? You are referring to the life cycle, data life cycle, AI life cycle, application life cycle, algorithmic life cycle, or machine learning life cycle, deployment life cycle. You are establishing the criteria for those processes and what all various control would be required to those processes. And it's not only establishing, you will be monitoring them as well. You would be establishing and implementing. Fine. Even if it is not defined, but it is established and implemented, it is okay. We don't say that it has to be in a big formatted Word document or something. If they have established this criteria in PowerPoint, in Excel, even by the handwritten, that is okay. But that requires to be demonstrated that it is established and it is implemented also. And as a auditor, you will verify that it is established and it is implemented. So if there is no question, then we can move on to the next point. The organization shall implement the controls determined according to 6.1.3 data related to the organization to the operation of the AI management system. For example, AI system development and users life cycle related controls. What would be the users life cycle and control? Like accuracy in real-time environment, how your AI solution is performing. Is it giving the adequate result? It is not giving the adequate result. How it is performing in terms of responding to solution? Is there any error? Is there any improvement scenarios? So there are multiple aspects associated with the operational part and in the usage part that will have to be demonstrated and development before it is being deployed for the actual production uses. So you will be identifying the control and implementing those control in both development and usage environment. We will be more or less calling it usage environment as a operations environment. Any question from anyone? This clause 8 is completely operational and implementation aspect. The more detail you would go, the better it would be the implementation for this 42,001. So you got it, the AI life cycle, data life cycle, your data itself, algorithm, right? There would be UI, UX standard, which will be followed by company. How look and feel would be, how much accuracy you would be operating upon. Let's say that you would like it to be 90% accurate, 95% accurate, 70% accurate. Those are the parameters which you will have to be working on. The effectiveness of these controls shall be monitored. So whatever control you have established, like accuracy, so you will have to monitor, and corrective actions shall be considered if the intended results are not achieved. Let us say that accuracy you targeted for 80%. And actual accuracy in operations environment, in user environment is coming 70%. So let us say that it is not achieved. Then Annexure A list reference control and Annexure B provides implementation guidance. So you will have to refer to them again. And you will have to act upon so that your threshold, your criteria is adequately established. Any question from anyone? Again, referring to the effectiveness of these controls shall be monitored and corrective actions shall be considered if the intended results are not achieved. So if they are not achieving the target of 80% as their threshold, if they identify so, in that case, there would be corrective actions that will have to be initiated if they are not achieving the target of accuracy, target of defect-free solutions, whatever it may be, whatever the control which they are establishing for their organization. Documented information shall be available to the extent necessary to have confidence that the processes have been carried out as planned. Here you do remember, the standard is saying that we don't document each and everything in operations, because they have been raising this as a point that it is nothing but a documentation in all the ISO. So they have started reducing it, this burden onto the implementation side, that don't define it in a well-established template format like header, footer, approval, other things, but implement it so that you can prove that you are performing all these tasks.